Hokuzono took a little break when this brother come back and leveled all the way up. Because what in God's green earth is this colour spread? Like, what is this? Like, seriously, what god did this dude bargain with to get abilities to produce this kind of stuff? Anyways, let's not waste no time. Let's dig in.
Like, I hate wasted potential. That shit crushes your spirit. It really does. It crushes your spirit.
This chapter is entitled Finishing Touches, and I'm going to be honest with you, I think it's called that because I think we're coming to the climax of this arc. I think things are looking a little bit too dangerous for our boy Hakuri right now, but we will get to that soon. Anyways, chapter 93 opens up where 92 left off, with Hokuto, Yura, Uraha, and Natsuki all staring each other down, and this is where we get to see just absolutely how much unhinged one man can contain, because Hokuto is just stood here laughing. He's missing an arm and he's laughing about it. This dude doesn't care at all. And while Hokuto is giggling away, Natsuki is tweaking out because he's the only one who used his sorcery. And I think this is quite funny how the only injuries given so far in this fight are due to swordsmanship. None of the fighters have injured each other off the back of sorcery, which I think is quite funny. Like, Natsuki's lightning basically did nothing. But it is probably why Natsuki is tweaking so hard about this right now, because the dude's trying to prove that he can hang. So it kind of now looks like he needed to use sorcery to sort of stay up there. But Ura, on the other hand, completely and utterly forgot about his sorcery and was just going off pure raw sword skill, which makes me wonder how much damage he would have done to Yura had he actually used Koen on that last strike in the previous chapters. Anyways, Hokuto carries on talking shit to Natsuki, telling him, "I thought you'd have been scared if I said you couldn't use your electrical leak stuff." And this comment, it strikes a nerve with Natsuki, because, of course, I said that a couple of videos back, but these four on the panels together is just absolutely beautiful. Hokuzono is just juggling their characters wonderfully, and they're all just bouncing off each other beautifully. Like, genuinely, it's a beautiful fucking scenario going on here. Anyways, we do get some insight into the current situation as Uraha is staring his two opponents down here. This guy isn't so much a master swordsman. It's more that his athleticism is totally unreal. His swordplay is inconsistent, but he still gets in plenty of blows. Now, this is obviously nothing new to us. We have seen and been knowing that Yura is a fucking monster. Back in the Raikazaichi arc, this dude was keeping up and even blocking attacks from Cloud Gouger. Even if it was a nerfed Cloud Gouger, I still think that's pretty impressive if you ask me. And then there's him blocking Uraha's buffed EI White style strike earlier on in the series, which again, I think it speaks to a good chunk of Yura's abilities here. I think this dude is a pretty fucking big monster to deal with. But on the other hand, Hokuto here, he doesn't even seem to be going all out. He's still holding back. He seems more interested in savouring the duel than killing us. Now, while Uraha is thinking about all of this, Hokuto is still doing nothing but just yapping about how good everybody's injuries are right now. I mean, when I say this dude is an actual menace, I mean it. This dude's a fucking menace right now. But Uraha notes how fighters like these guys are few and far between. There is no doubt that these guys are the guys that killed Kunoshige and Ibuki. This statement from Uraha got me wondering. It came across to me as if he's sort of measuring these guys up to Kunoshige and Ibuki. Now, obviously, we know Ibuki was obviously the former Cloud Gouger bearer here. He's an enchanted blade wielder, and he was obviously just a monster. A bit out of shape when Hokuto got to him, but still, we still don't know anything about Kunoshige's fighting prowess, though. So it makes me really wonder if that dude got hands, because, I mean, 3 members of the Hishaku did come for him. So maybe, you know, maybe Kunoshige was a bit of a demon back then. Anyways, Hokuto talks about the adrenaline from the injuries are as good as it gets, because it makes your focus even sharper. Then going on to mention how the climax is nearly here, as all 4 prepare for their next clash. Now, I do think that it is very important to note Hokuto's mention of the nearing climax in conjunction with the title finishing touches here. Remember, these guys have planned everything out so far, like literally everything, and again, I will touch on that towards the end of the video here. It is very important. Anyways, what comes next is perhaps a top 3 double spread within this series. Like, Hokuzono has cooked here. This dude absolutely cooked, like, genuinely. Now, it might seem like there's a lot going on, and there is, so let me just sit down, break it down piece by piece for you. 1. Yura's sword is being blocked by Uraha right here. 2. Natsuki's sword seems to have drawn blood from Yura right here. As we can see in the previous panel, there is no blood on either of his blades. 3. Yura is using his offhand to block Natsuki's strike, or at the very least, direct it elsewhere. 4. Hokuto is also blocking Uraha's strike with his little stumpy here, Pause. 5. Uraha is blocking Hokuto's strike with the sheath of his blade from behind his back right here. And 6. Hokuto also seems to be using either his shoulder to block Natsuki's free arm, or he's using Uraha's arm and getting it in the way of Natsuki's strike, thinking he won't cut through it. Now, this entire panel is just stunning. I think it's one of the best panels that Hokuto has produced. I think it really encapsulates the messiness of being in a sword fight. And obviously, I would know. I've been in plenty of sword fights. Average British moment right there. Anyways, we do cut away from the conclusion of this battle from the four-way because, of course, Hokuzono is taking lessons from Gege and holding us by the balls week by week here. Speaking of which, by the way, Jujutsu Kaisen has returned. I am covering all of that. I've got 2 videos out right now, so if you like Jujutsu Kaisen, go check out my other content. If you need a refresher on J history as well, check out this video, my big 3-hour Shinjuku plug. And also, if you like all the content that I've been doing, consider supporting the Patreon. It's like $5 a month, and you get all sorts of behind-the-scenes story stuff on all of my videos. Anyway, shameless plug over. I'm done. We do cut away to these Kaminabi goons here who are absolutely shitting their pants at the sight of this. And I don't blame them. This might be the spookiest panel within the series. This is straight up horror film vibes. Imagine you turn the corner and see this shit. I'm immediately dookying, I'm voiding my bowels immediately. I'm shitting my pants and screaming in self-defense. Straight up. As this dude is faltering, he falls into the hands of none other than Jane Hishaku, who here, wait for it, is an ice sorcerer, which I'm sure you've all thought it, and I'm thinking it, let's be honest. This sets up a perfect lady battle between Jane Hishaku here and Hiyuki, ice versus fire. I'm sure we're all excited for that. But we do also get some dialogue between the Hishaku members here after Bingo here turns this poor guy into a popsicle snack. But yeah, his name's fucking Bingo. Being a dad, I can't help but hear the name Bingo and think of this adorable, delightful little motherfucker. So yeah, that dude's innocence, that dude's menacery is sort of fading thick and fast with a name like Bingo for me. Anyways, we do also get a name for Jane Hishaku here. Her name is Uran. Now, I'm just going to say this. My chat was absolutely creaming their pants over this chick. Y'all know who you are. Shameless. Shame on you. But we do also get some lore on Bingo's power. Because remember, Bingo was the dude who put the curse on Uraha and Kiri after they'd killed those dragon heads, those demon heads there, where their bodies got all heavy and they started moving a little bit slower. But Bingo's sorcery needs feeding to use his powers, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think is the first time we've ever been shown sorcery within this series that has conditions for use. Which makes me wonder just how strong this dude's sorcery actually is. Anyways, some members of the Kaminabi pull up, very stylish looking motherfuckers too, but these guys plan to engage Hishaku in what I can only describe seems to be a planned kamikaze attack. They talk about keeping these guys busy for a few seconds and then they're just going to fire and take them all out at once. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. However, we are finally getting into the meat and potatoes of this chapter here because we do cut over to Kiri and Hakuri, who are running through the halls to find none other than Azumi and Ichiki riding atop his shoulders. Now, I know a lot of you are in the camp that Azumi is a traitor, and I know a few more of you are in the mindset that so too is Ichiki. He's also a traitor as far as you're concerned. Now, so I'm still not sure on either of these. I'm not really convinced that Azumi is a traitor, but Ichiki is a bit suspect to me. So to see both of these two standing together at what I can only assume is going to be a pivotal moment is very, very suspicious, and Hokuzono has roused my suspicions here, and it could be just a double bluff, but Azumi does clarify that he had to shut down the threat elimination grounds due to all of the commotion coming inside of the headquarters. Remember, this dude set up his own like fucking elimination grounds where they're band playing for him, hype man, and he just punched the fuck out of a bunch of dudes, which is quite cool. But it's here that Hakuri mentions how hard everyone has fought to protect him, with Azumi noting how it's a good job that Uraha was actually alive. Now Hakuri recounts the game plan, that he only needs to transport the Shinuichi to the warehouse, and it is pretty much game, set, match, checkmate for the Hishaku. However, Azumi says, if only it was that easy, with Ichiki clarifying what he means here is, we've surrounded all of the Hishaku invaders. Yes, they are expert fighters, but at the end of the day, they are just individual sorcerers. It shouldn't take long to contain them, but the real issue is, even they themselves can't have expected to charge him with such a small numbers and defeat us. Which is where Ichiki mentions how there is something else behind this, and then refers to the Shinuichi. Noting how the Hishaku put it up for auction at the Rakuzaichi as if they were handing it over to Kaminabi. And he hypothesizes that they might have programmed the Shinuichi to be controlled remotely, meaning that handing over to them would be like sending a bomb into their midst. But he does clarify that they did actually rule out that possibility when they were sealing it, but he's still not quite sure. But the chapter does close out with Hakuri walking out into the room and seeing the Shinuichi for the first time since the Rakuzachi. Now, I have some theories floating around in my noggin, so let me get them off my chest. Earlier, I mentioned how Hokuto's mention of the climax nearing here, and the conjunction of the title being, the finishing touches, sort of hints to the climax of the arc, or at the very least, the battle. The end of this battle is coming. Now, I also mentioned that the Hishaku have planned out everything. In chapter 40, Yura is talking about the effort that it has taken to unseal the Shinuichi, and how he's using Kiora as a guinea pig to sort of see if, they might have primary command over the Shinuichi. Now, I've been on the train of thought for a little minute that Yura isn't actually planning to wield the Shinuichi himself, rather just sort of free the Swordmaster. These two are connected somehow, as we obviously see Yura's eyes turning black in the same fashion as the Swordmaster's, but we also saw Kyora's eyes turn in the exact same way when the Swordmaster was trying to hijack his mind way back in the Rakuzachi. So, now I'd be willing to bet Yura's plan involves letting Hakuri get to the Shinuichi, because right now, he didn't really turn his attention away from Uraha and Natsuki to go and stop Hakuri. I mean, he could have, but he didn't, and I find that very, very interesting. Now, he knows Hakuri touching the sword might be enough for the Swordmaster to just take him over, because I think one thing that we can say is, while Hakuri is physically tough, his mental state and what it takes, and mental fortitude and what it takes to sort of fight off that kind of mental attack, I'm not sure if he's got that kind of power in him. I'm not going to lie, he's a very emotionally charged dude, and I could see the Swordmaster manipulating him. I don't see Hakuri having the same force of will that his father has. I mean, he could potentially overcome this with some grand triumphant moments, and I hope that is the case, but I could definitely see a moment here where the Swordmaster takes over Hakuri after him touching the sword, and Hakuri would then either become a new vessel for the Swordmaster, a possession type of beat here, or the Swordmaster makes Hakuri walk that sword straight to him and deliver it personally. I don't know, but I think whatever happens next, I'm extremely invested, as always. But anyways, that is everything from me. A fairly quick and action-packed chapter, if I do say so myself. But let me know what you think in the comments down below, and as always, I will catch you guys all in the next one. Much fucking love. Big fucking kisses. Peace.